Uh, this is the third and last of the speculative recording, and this one I'm speculating that whatever befell me may have been brought up by security personnel or even the intelligence. My relationship with the intelligence, even after leaving the intelligence, was cordial. They used to sympathize with my cause on a personal level and even on an official level, because during Moi's time, if you're in charge of a place and stories go out that one of your juniors is anti-Moi, you will go first before your junior goes. So what you do is you chase the junior so that when you are called, you say, I cannot control him what he was saying, but this is what I've done. So our relationship was cordial up to the time when Kibaki came up with TGRC, both the task force and the actual TGRC. We even had Gorsungu commission, and I went and gave evidence. During those days, that is when they started keeping away from me, because there are times, you see, you talk about this and that used to happen, this and that used to happen, and then you'd be cross-examined and asked, what do you think ABCD? For somebody who has done a job for quite some time, and for somebody who had been placed in the sensitive places of a certain job, you find that you are in a position to make an informed guessing that would usually come out to be true. What many people don't know, even today, people say, and I've heard, I'm sorry I cannot mention names here, but I've come across even people in the system who tell me that whatever I say is being discussed in the high echelons of the government. And sincerely, as much as I get annoyed when Raila's people say that I've been bought by Ruto to malign Raila's name, I also get information from people who are very close to Ruto. I ask them, na sasa huko mnafanya nasa? Why should I tell you? And what you're telling us, our bosses say that you're telling us exactly what is being discussed there. I want to look you into the eye and tell you that somebody died recently at my home. He was called Munyango Olimbuya. Munyango Olimbuya had been jailed for so many times that whenever anybody at home would be jailed, when reports came home, so and so has been jailed, we would all rush to Munyangoli's place and say, can you tell us? Say, oh, what? Today is his first day, yeah. When he went to prison, the first day he had crammed those things so much, because he knows that the first day you go to prison, first of all, you are taken to a room to be checked if you are smuggling in bang or something. Then you are taken to another room to be shaved. Then he knew the procedure so much that when you are arrested, he'll tell your people what you are now doing and what other prisoners are doing to you. Monolization of such a thing. So when you have stayed in a certain place for quite a long time, you can guess what is going to happen the next time and whatever time. But then you find that the intelligence people started feeling, no, I have contacts there. I have contacts who tell me what is happening. So you find somebody, he crosses over the road and goes to the other side. He says, if I am seen with you, then it will go all the way up. They'll say that it is me who briefs you on what happens. So I don't want to land into problems. By you being sacked alone is too much. So let no other person be sacked. I wanted to share. Of course, I talked to Wicked Edition and NTV and said, if your security is, you don't tell people. I remember when I went to Gor Sungu Commission, I didn't have a phone. I used to use somebody's phone, and he would take my messages. And there was even a time when, if it was a must that you must talk to me, you would tell that person that I want to talk to him, and I'll call tomorrow at such and such a time, let him be near there. So that is how things were. And the fellow, up to today, he has never told me some of the things he used to get, but there's one time he only showed me some SMSs which were a threat. And whoever wrote the SMSs, those days we didn't have WhatsApp. Those SMSs were telling me, oh, go and tell KNH that he has beaten more than he can chew. That was a sign that whoever was sending the message, first of all, had gone to my parliamentary statement and had attained my phone number. And he knew that, that I was not the owner of the phone. So the messages were being sent to the person and whatever. Those were some of the bullying. And then there was another occasion when somebody tried to run over me. It had rained, and if you go to Riruta Satellite, there's a place called Nyakenywa Road next to a Mormon's church. So they tried to run over me, and I jumped into, and then they went. There was maybe, after leaving service, I only took alcohol for 13 months, 13 or 14 months. But they did not know that I had stopped alcohol. So it was a trick to pretend they're going to hit me. Then I jump into the flooded water, and being drunk, because they did not know that I had stopped taking alcohol, being drunk, I would drown. Those things have happened, but it happened. The worst was to do with my son, and that is why I've even placed his picture there. I don't know, nobody knows. My son just developed cholera-like symptoms, and that was the year he was in standard 8 in April. What happened was they were doing the first term exam, and then when they were doing the first term exam, my son suddenly vomited on the desk and diarrheaed in his seat in the classroom where they were doing the exams around 10-11, approaching noon. Then that was inside. That was in the middle of an exam. Yeah, that was in the middle of an exam. Standard 8. I'm trying to tell you that my son has no standard 8 report form, because standard 8, they had the first term report, then second term was pre-mock or something like that, and then third term, of course, was the exam. He became so sick that that I took a picture of him in Kenyatta National Hospital, ICU. On the day that I took that picture, I knew, I was very sure that that day he would not live to see morning. I flashed somebody. I have a nephew. I have a nephew called Ebo Kangede. He had given me 2 numbers. I didn't know that one number was his father's. Then I rang. I wanted to, you know, when you imagine you're in the ICU and you know your son is going to die. You know your son is going to die. So you take that picture, that phone, you start flashing everybody, you know. And then when I flashed Kangede's number, we call him Kange. When I flashed his number, I had a different voice. I said, sorry, I thought it was. Then he said, I'm his father. Then I talked to my brother-in-law the whole night, Francis Waithaka. Francis Waindaka Kang'ethe. He talked to him, and he by now he's dead, but he's a medical personnel. He was a medical personnel, so he kept talking to me the whole night till morning. That day I knew that my son would recover. Today he has completed, he's now in campus. Even today he still has those symptoms that were permanently. For example, he cannot study continuously for 2 hours. He studies 30-40 minutes, he's tired. Eating, because whatever poison was given to him went through the alimentary canal. He doesn't eat the same size as me and you, but he eats small pieces 4 or 5 times a day. So you can remember in campus and also in secondary school, we had to organize for extra smaller meals. He's the only person who from Form 1 to Form 4 never complained that the food was little. You know, from 1 to Form 4, you always complain that the lunch you are given is less, isn't it? But you see, that less is now what he's required. So we had to make arrangements with the nearest facilities for him to be having an extra meal during daytime, and even after preps at night he gets a second supper. So that is what has been happening, and every time you are the attempt on you, you become cleverer and more watchful. So we do not rule out the possibility that the intelligence officers are the ones who hacked my channel. And as I've said in the other 2 tapes, and I'll still continue saying, is that unless you get the thief, you will have 4 or 5 suspects. Many, and you see, if the thief was one, you may find that you are suspected 3 or 4 innocently, isn't it? But I have to think aloud. Who could it be? But then, meanwhile, keep watching. And most importantly, I find that nowadays most of the recordings are in reaction to what people say. Can you tell us what happened to Kangongo? Can you tell? I'm preparing those. It is only that I have a lot to put, and then not all of them have sufficient evidence. I would want to place it when I have reasonable. There is only one person, apart from God, who can give you 100% story of what happened, and that is the villain himself. But you see, he cannot say, because he will be implicating himself. So we try as much as possible to give theories that can make sense, and we thank God that so far, whatever theories we have given, later on they come out to be as near truth as possible. Thank you.